Hey, good morning, Eastern Oregon, and welcome to this October 8th version of AM Live on EOA. Your connection to Eastern Oregon, you can find all of our content on the EOA.network. That literally is the URL where you can go. And there also is a place, if you are not a sponsor, but you would like to support us, there's a place where you can support us also. Here in just a little bit, we're going to have Union County Commissioner Matt Scarfo with us.
That was so that link takes you to our link tree, just to be clear. It doesn't take you to a website or anything. It's just a link tree with all the places you can access our content.
Yep.
So
which is what they call our value proposition. I mean, that's what in sales terms, yeah. So it's like that's what we can do that other people can't do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
nice.
Yeah.
I printed out a little thing about these wolf attacks that are happening again.
Yeah.
Well, there was like four more livestock over the last week in Union and Wallowa County.
Were they were attacks, or they were reported, or they were what? Yeah.
They call them probable attacks. I guess.
Okay. Yeah.
Because they're not. They can't clearly confirm predation, but I mean, you can pretty much tell when an animal's been attacked by another animal.
Yeah.
But who knows?
Well, so the default is to look for the wolf not being involved. I mean, that's kind of, so in other words, since ODFW has to pay for those kinds of attacks, then the evidence has to be pretty substantial. That's the bottom line.
Which doesn't make a lot of sense. But
it's just kind of the way it is. That's a big discussion in Eastern Oregon. So.
Yeah, I try to stay out of it. I just wanted to ruffle people's feathers a little bit this morning. Get woke up.
Yeah.
I fell back asleep this morning. I was like, I mean, I wasn't late, but I was like later than normal. Like my alarm went off at like 5:05.
Yeah.
And I laying there, and then I got another alarm that goes off at like 5:09 just to make sure, like I got three of them, and they're spaced out like 4 minutes apiece. And the third one went off, and I'm like, and let me just chill here for a minute, and I didn't snooze any of them, so they weren't going back off. And I opened my eyes, and it's like 6:20. I'm like, oh. Better get going.
Yeah. No, it was funny when I got your text that you were on your way up.
Well, I just wanted you not to worry.
No, and it was it hadn't even registered to me that the alarm hadn't been unset. Yeah.
Because usually I set it by 6.
Yeah.
And today it was like more like 6:45. But
yeah. So, have you been watching that storm in the Gulf of Mexico? The new one?
No, I don't watch news, so.
It is like it's set. It's supposed to maybe hit Tampa Bay tomorrow, maybe tonight. I'm trying to think. Yeah, but it's a Category 5. It's one of the largest storms. I mean, it's just crazy.
Didn't they just have a hurricane down there?
Yes, they did, and that's the devastation part of it. Is that? But this one looks like it's Florida comes down like this, and it's just going to cut right through. It's coming from the Gulf Coast out to the Atlantic.
I mean, I have compassion, and I feel bad for those people, but you can live somewhere else. It's like Carlos Mencia has a joke. He's talking about. Like Tornado Alley, in the Midwest. Yeah. And he's like, how hard is it for you to move? Your house has wheels.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't have to live there.
No, I know, but I don't disagree with that. Those are my sentiments too. It's like if you build your house over and over again, because eventually you'd figure out, like, man, this isn't worth it.
Let me move to like somewhere where.
Right.
I mean, nowhere's really safe.
But think in terms of like Eastern Oregon being home or whatever it might be, and if devastation happened, it's still your home.
Yeah.
It's still it's where you went to school. It's where your family is. It's where But no, this could be like super devastating. They're estimating maybe 15-foot surges in the center of the storm where it comes ashore, which is just nuts.
Well, a 15-foot wave is not that big, right?
Well, but
there's 15-foot waves.
But the problem, right? But the problem is that with a storm surge, it just keeps pushing that inland. Yeah.
Like a tsunami?
Like a tsunami. Oh, I mean, people could argue even worse because it just, the storm just pushes it in and just keeps going. So,
Interesting.
yeah. So, anyhow.
Maybe get out of that area if you live there.
Oh, they're evacuating. There's just like the freeways they're full. Yeah.
I'll bet you that gets crazy, like the gas stations and ooh.
Well, they showed some of the store shelves, and they were already empty from the previous storm.
Oh, were they?
Yeah.
Is it the exact same area?
The storm had a little different path, but the same area was influenced. Yeah.
Oh man, that's terrible.
Yeah. The previous storm went up the west side of Florida, just kind of right up that area.
So the inside of the panhandle.
Correct, yeah. And right up the coast is where the previous one. This one is just like cutting right across Florida.
Ooh,
so
that's just bad luck.
Yeah.
Dang.
All righty. Hey, you want to do sports?
Let's do it.
All right.
AM Sports Report brought to you by Hobby Habit. Right here in town, they have advent calendars already. Everything from Exit the Game to Lego Star Wars advent calendar. Stop by 411 First Street in LeGrand. Hobby Habit, just for the fun of it. Homecoming for EOUs this weekend. That's pretty exciting. I'll have the full schedule for you guys on Thursday. EOU sports had a really good weekend this weekend overall. Men's soccer, they lost and tied on the road at Southern, would be the only exception to. I mean, I take a tie over the weekend for the men. They're currently 4-2-2 on the season. They play Providence on Friday at Community Stadium at 6:30 as part of the homecoming celebration. Women's soccer, though, they went down south as well and took on OIT and Southern and shut them both out, which is, I mean, that does not happen, and it happened this weekend, and that's awesome. They're 4-3-2 on this season. They host Providence on Friday as well. That game kicks off at 4 p.m. For her efforts with 2 shutouts over the weekend, EOU goalkeeper Maddie Barker was named the CCC Defender of the Week. EOU volleyball went on the road and beat Walla Walla 3-1 and LCSC 3-1. That was pretty much expected. They're at home this weekend as well for homecoming. They have a huge top 5 in the country. EOU's number 3, Southern's number 5. They play Friday night, 6 o'clock in Quinn. That's going to be awesome. The EOU cross-country team got 4th place for the men at the Charles Bulls Invite. Justin Ash, Christian Mendoza, and Hunter Nichols were the top 3 finishers for the men. And then the women's team got 11th. Kalia Hines, a local, Maddie Woodbury, and Sadie McCoy were the top 3 finishers for the ladies. EOU football went on the road and won big on Saturday night in Arizona against ACU. The final score was 48-22. This brings the Mounties record to 2-3 overall and 2-1 in the Frontier Conference. Senior quarterback Quincy Glasper had a huge game and continued his huge year. He was 22 of 35 for 359 yards and 4 touchdowns. He also ran for 94 yards on 10 carries and had 2 touchdowns on the ground. That's a big week for Quincy. For his efforts, he was named the Frontier Conference Offensive Player of the Week. LHS girls soccer beat Baker on Thursday 8-1, while the boys lost 4-3. The Tiger football team went on the road to open the GOL and had a huge road victory over Ontario, 34-27. The Tigers host Baker on this Thursday, 7 p.m. at Community Stadium. That game will also be broadcasted right here on the EOA network. Imbler won their first game under their new lights versus Elgin, 36-14. Check out this video sent in by Steve West. A community fundraise lighting and track project comes to light. No pun intended.
The field!
And Sports Report brought to you by Hobby Habit, just for the fun of it.
they've turned that project around quickly. I'm impressed, man. They've been working at that, and that's it really started as a track project, and then I think that from there they expanded it to add lights, and that's the first game that they've had in the evening ever. So, because they've always had to have their football games in late afternoon or afternoon because they didn't have the lights to do it. So, cool thing. Congratulations. Glad you guys, Kegger Brasseth told me that they're putting the lines on the track and stuff this week. So, they're pretty excited about that.
Cool.
All right, well, hey, let's look at the weather graphic real quick, see what we got coming up. So
80 today? Good
wow.
grief.
Yeah.
It was really nice yesterday, too.
Yep. I love this time of the year. But, and it looks like no chance of rain, or a little bit of, yeah, it's going to be kind of like this until through the weekend. So that's awesome. So good stuff.
Yep.
All right. Well, Union County Commissioner Matt Scarfo will be with us right after this.
He's the best quarterback we've had in a while.
Sounds like it. Those are some serious.
All right.
Nope.
We're back. We missed our bumper, so it's all right. Hey, how are you, Matt?
Good. Good. How are you guys doing?
We're doing good, man.
Good, good.
How's stuff in Commissioner land?
It's well. It's well. A lot of stuff going on. The elections are coming up.
Yeah.
No, I talked to Clerk Feek yesterday. The 16th, they'll be mailed out.
Wow.
So
Of October?
Yep.
Yeah, because it's early November, right?
Yeah, November 5th.
Yeah.
Election day.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, did you get a chance to take in the forum the other night?
I did not. I had to go to a AOC meeting in John Day.
Oh, that's right. You told me that.
Yes. Association of Oregon Counties. I'm
Yeah.
the District 1 chair for that. So we had to go to John Day and talk about state stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did watch it though.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, and us and the chamber kind of put that together, and I had mixed feelings about how it came off. I mean, I felt it was good. There were a lot of things that were good about it, but
What'd you change?
Well, I don't know that we really got any more information than we already had.
Well, there's a lot of the same questions I noticed. I'm glad that.
Yeah.
I'm glad you guys do that.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Well, and that's why we did it.
Mm-hmm.
We did it, and this was during COVID, we partnered with EOA Media Group to put one on. But
Mm-hmm.
but this is really the first time that we've taken on a primary partnership to make that happen. And really, it was me. I initiated that, and so. But yeah, I don't know. So how do you think you would, how could you formulate a forum? I mean, we spent some time in our staff meeting talking about this yesterday. how could you formulate it so that you really kind of get to the topics? Yeah.
Well, I don't know, maybe make it more of a debate.
Right, yeah.
And like when we had the Senate debate at EOU,
Right.
they actually I love that one. It's like, hey, one question
Right.
from your opponents.
Right.
And it kind of got, hey, there's some things that I think our constituents really would like to hear about.
Right.
And yeah, maybe that. I mean, we're not to get to the point to where it's like they're battling back and forth and it gets heated and angry. But I mean, it's at that level of an election, you have to be able to be composed and handle yourself.
Well, and I mean, we thought about that. I mean, we really, and I guess that it's always a struggle because, like in the sheriff's race, when there's an incumbent. I mean, now in the commissioner race, where neither one of the candidates have ever been commissioner, then that could have been interesting. Because clearly, if you're running against someone, you're trying to show the difference between you and them.
Correct.
And so, so then like when in the commissioner race, that could have been valuable. But when you have an incumbent, then the incumbent is really at a disadvantage. I don't know. Because, I mean, they're an advantage in some ways, but they're at a disadvantage because it's easy to snipe somebody who's been doing the job for the last.
Well, yeah. In that scenario, it's apples and oranges.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You're trying to figure out, hey, these guys have never been here before.
Right.
Let's figure out who they are.
Right.
But for someone that's been there against somebody that hasn't been there, it's almost. I was thinking about it. It's almost like in the restaurant industry or any kind of business. It's like, if I don't know what the problem is, how am I going to fix it?
Right.
And so if someone says, you know what you're not doing, I'm like, please tell me, what am I not doing?
So you think that's good?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd take it.
Yeah.
But that's also constructive criticism that some people can't take it.
Right. But so much of what I see happening so much is somebody who's running against an incumbent, they're uninformed. Well, I mean, they don't understand it's like I said, so you have something super complex like being a commissioner or being a sheriff. You have all of these internal issues that are driving budget, or this is why we can't do this, or what, and somebody from the outside can make some casual suggestion not knowing any of that.
Well, that's the difference between an incumbent and a non-incumbent, because if you're coming in and you don't know what's going on, you could say whatever you want. You could say, "Hey, free soda pops for everybody." You could, but as a incumbent, you know that you can't do that.
Right.
So you can't promise the world and promise this and promise that. Which I always say, there's no promises in politics.
Right.
So if someone comes up there and say, "I'm going to do this, do this, do that," it's like you may want to talk to your administrator or somebody prior to making all those.
Right, but do you? And I guess that's the problem. The problem is that I'm not sure that the average voter is just as uninformed as the person running against the incumbent. And so then you have these false arguments that can just be thrown at an incumbent.
They can. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's there to stop them?
Right. And
Yeah.
so then how do you clear that up?
Well,
if you were in charge of a forum,
I will say that this show helps a lot. Us being on the show
Right.
and having Sheriff Bowen on here and
Right,
having it, I mean, this really does. A lot of people are like, hey, I never even knew that since.
Right.
But so I really think this is a great platform, and I really appreciate you guys for having this. This has been fantastic, especially during COVID. Man, this has helped a lot.
Well, and I guess I'm just wondering when we were talking about this yesterday, kind of debriefing that forum, I wondered if just having the candidates, I'm talking about in the future, just having the candidates on the show like this and having an open conversation. And I mean, whether you call it a debate or you call it a forum, it's just like, hey, let's just let it rip and see where it goes.
Mm-hmm. No, I'd watch it.
Yeah. Well, you'd watch a fist fight though, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, interesting. Well, hey, so one of the questions, I have a question, but I will let you, fill us in on what's going on in the county.
Oh, okay, so from I went to Ledge Days, which was a couple weeks ago, went to Salem, still pushing the...
Ledge Days is what?
Like once a quarter, all our legislators meet back in Salem. They have like e-board sessions. They kind of just, hey, where are we at? Like touch-ups.
Okay.
Because the sessions are few and far between, especially right now with our short session this year.
Okay.
They were only there for 6-9 weeks, and then so they come back regularly to the Capitol and kind of get in their office. Where we at? Let's have some meetings. Do we need to move the budget around? How are we looking? So good opportunity for me to go back and once again push the wastewater issues at our fairgrounds.
So Ledge Days, I'm sorry, let me just.
Yep.
So they're all at the Capitol, kind of for communication's sake?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
So, but there is a lot of changing the guard this year legislatively.
Okay.
So there's a lot of new senators, a lot of new reps. There were some there. A lot of offices being moved.
Yeah.
So January is going to be pretty crazy when everyone gets sworn in and we have a set of new faces in there. So I'm going to have to introduce myself to a lot of House reps and senators.
Yeah.
Come January, which is fine.
Yeah.
But some of the ones that know me, that have seen me in the Capitol for the last 5 years,
Yeah.
they're like, Matt, you're still at it. We're glad to see you here, and still can't believe this has not been funded.
All right. Okay. So I'm gonna throw you something that you can hit out of the park. I know you was. So what? I mean, you come out of this session. What are some of the things that aggravate you about what was funded and us not being funded?
Yeah. Well, that's my needs and wants scenario that
Okay.
I'd love to. I'm going to push that a lot with our legislators. Is do you need it or do you want it? Everybody wants a sports arena. Everybody wants a covered barn, or everybody wants this stuff. Do you really need it? Do you really? We want a sports arena. I mean, Umatilla County got $3 million
Right.
for for the concept of a sports arena, Umatilla County. I mean, trust me, I love my commissioners and mayors and stuff in Umatilla County, but when we have actually a need, it's not like I'd really want indoor plumbing. No, we need indoor plumbing.
Right.
So when I see these, the short session, a lot of baseball fields on the west side got funded.
Yeah.
Those are,
And you're a baseball dude.
yeah, I love baseball.
Right.
So do they have bathrooms at these stadiums? Do they need bathrooms?
Right. But
But-
why is the state in the baseball funding?
I don't know. I don't want to get too much in the weeds on this, but it
Right,
seems like
but
there's a
I mean
topic. There's kind of like a base topic for every session.
Okay.
And I'm still trying to figure out what topic it will be for this regular session coming up.
Okay.
And if it's housing, then I'll say, okay, we'll put housing at the fairgrounds. Or if it's baseball, all right, we'll put a baseball field at the fairground. I mean, any way to get this plumbing
just get a
project.
funding,
yeah,
right,
yeah,
yeah.
just any way to get this plumbing project finalized.
Right.
And we still need $2.5 million. It's a $4.3 million project.
Right.
So we have a half match pretty much. We just need the
Right.
2.5 to get us
Right.
over the
Why are you pointing at me? The cusp?
finish line. Oh my God! How did I forget?
Are you pointing at me like,
Well, it's a sports term. Come on,
the finish
line,
line.
yeah.
Where's my color? My color coming. Come on.
Yeah, but we're talking to baseball, and you switched to track.
I was like track. I was like, oh yeah. And the indoor track thing. Wow, fantastic.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
in the meantime, the cost of the project just keeps going
It
up.
actually it stabilized.
Okay.
This year, so I mean, inflation I think kind of maybe hit
Right.
for a while there. I mean, 5 years ago it was like 700,000. And then I went to $1 million. Then I was asking $1.5 million, and I remember it went from $1.5 million to $2 million. And then it went 2.25, and then we're at 2.5 now.
Wow.
So if we would have had the money that we have now 5 years ago, it happens.
Yes,
Easily.
we did receive $1 million. Was it 3 or 4 years ago? Kind of with the Christmas tree bill. And if we would have just received that 2 years prior,
Yeah,
it'd be done right now.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So, yeah, inflation did not help.
So, but
'cause-
back to your point though is that we need this.
Yes,
It's not
we
that we
need
just
it.
want.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
I would love a sports complex here.
But why do we? So is a sports complex? I mean, in the minds of whomever is funding baseball fields and sports spots, is that economic development? Is if we
Capital construction money.
Yeah. So, but I mean, why are we spending? Why would the states spend? And I know you probably are in the middle of that. Why does
There's
the
a
state-
lot of behind the scenes, hey, scratchbacks.
right.
I mean, there's a lot of moving
sports
parts.
complexes fall under a whole bunch of different categories too. They fall under you know what I mean, like different ways you can get funding. It's youth, it's community development. There's probably 20 different things that it falls.
Well, I mean, it certainly is economic development. It's tourism. It's I mean, as far as the justification for that.
I don't want to keep ripping on Umatilla with that funding, but when I'm over here with a serious need,
right,
for 5 years,
right,
and been working this hard on it, I just have some frustrations,
right,
as you can imagine.
Yeah.
So this year, I really hope it is. I mean, even Governor Kotek last year was very pleased that I was still going forward with this.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people are, but I just need to get in front of I know who the right people. Actually, Senator Lieber is coming to town next month to take a tour of the fairgrounds, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
Senator Lieber is co-chairs of Ways and Means, so this is huge. Rep. Levy invited her over, and she accepted, and I met with her a couple weeks ago too, and so I'm, props to Representative Levy for having Senator Lieber come over. I can't wait.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, it'll be fantastic.
All right.
You're going to make her use the outhouse?
Well, I was going to tell her I had to use the bathrooms before you go.
Or you can use the old honey bucket.
Yeah.
You should have made her come over in the summertime when
Yeah.
it's nice and hot and you have to go in the old honey bucket.
And I'll just say, I'll make it like a 2.5-hour meeting, so she'll be doing like that. Can we go to the bathroom?
Yeah.
Can we
Yeah,
go?
yeah, here.
We warmed it up for you.
Need it.
Find some
Need a
indoor
soda?
plumbing?
Yeah.
I hate to joke about it, but it's very frustrating, very frustrating.
Yeah, I understand.
So county stuff. So yeah, that's what I did. We have Greater Idaho meeting tomorrow, 9 a.m.
All right.
So if you'd like to come to the mandated Greater Idaho meeting, you're more than welcome. And if you miss it, guess what? There's
It's online.
another one in 4 more months.
Where's it at?
Got our chambers, 1106
Yeah.
K Avenue. Yeah. So 9 o'clock. Open up to public comment.
Now
and-
that has been in the past at the
the,
clerk's office, but it's not anymore. Is it in the?
No, we just have it on our.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The attendance went down a little.
Attendance is you never know. You never know. So I mean,
How many people do you think will show up?
I don't.
How many showed up at the last one?
I can't. It was the last one. No, I can't remember.
Just a rough estimate.
I'm going to say a dozen.
Proponents or opponents?
Both.
Both?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Well, there's people that talk both sides. Trust me, I understand the frustration that the Greater Idaho movement people have.
Yeah.
Completely get it. Understand. Is this the way about it?
It's not feasible.
I would say you better start prepping my kid for it. It's not going to be in my lifetime.
Yeah, it's not feasible.
No, there's too many working parts on it. But I completely 100% understand the frustrations of our state.
Right. And I do too.
I think most people do.
Yeah.
Especially people over here.
Yeah. So, and the Greater Idaho, for people who don't know what this is and why this meeting happens, can you just explain that to them?
Oh, it's a ballot measure.
So there was a ballot measure that
It said that we, if passed, we have to create communication with our constituents about this Greater Idaho movement. And we have to have them 3 times a year. If not, I think we get a $150 fine, $125 fine if we don't have the meeting. And we have to have it in
perpetuity.
Perpetuity, thank you very much.
There is no sunset date.
No sunset date on it.
Right. And so, and it doesn't mean that as a county we're in favor of the Greater Idaho movement. It just means that we're in favor of having the meetings.
That's what the ballot measure said.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because sometimes you'll hear people say, "Yeah, did you hear that this county, is a part of the Greater Idaho movement?" It's like, no, that's not it. They just have adopted to have the meetings. Yeah.
And I have people that email me and call me and say, "Oh, please don't vote us into Idaho." And I'm like, I can't. It's not even that's not even a commissioner thing.
We're turning into Idahoans tomorrow.
Yeah. But it's getting national traction. I have my friends in Phoenix calling me up and saying, "You guys, Idaho? What's going on here?"
No,
I saw
it's
it on
funny.
Fox News or something.
The one I think I've been to a couple of them, and one of them that I went to, there was a journalist from Japan.
Yeah,
who happened to have been there, and I don't know if he made the trip to Eastern Oregon to go to that meeting or what, but yeah.
No,
So-
we get it's. I would suggest coming there. But I said if you miss tomorrow, there's going to be another one and another one.
And you can tune in on Zoom.
Yes, you can.
And people, because there were several the one I went to, there were several people that were in on Zoom. There were several letters that were submitted that were read at the thing, and then there were a few people that were there in person that spoke. Yeah, so.
Now there's a lot of people put it in writing, and there's a lot. Poor Shirley has to read a lot.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No. So tomorrow at 9 a.m.
All right.
In our chambers, and then we have a work session tomorrow at 10:30. We did get a new planner, Inga Williams.
Okay.
Yeah, she just started last week.
All right.
And hitting the ground running, and she'll be there at our work session.
Good.
Yeah.
So I do have a planning question, and there was a planning session. There was a planning question in the forum, and the question was, how can the county assist people who want to build homes in county jurisdiction? So in other words, outside of city limits. And I don't know.
That is a planning question.
That is a planning question.
Yes. So changing.
No,
You change like land use?
No, it doesn't mean changing anything. It's just how
are we going to build more houses?
The foundation of the question is there are a lot of people that don't live in city limits, and they got there somehow.
Yes.
Okay, and so and I know that there's the pat answer, which we did hear that night, was, well, they shouldn't build out in the county; they should build in city limits, which is easy for somebody to say who lives not in city limits, and so. So again, everybody who lives out there on some acreage, it's kind of their own little piece of heaven. That's why they're there.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So then how can the county enable the citizens of Union County to have their own little piece of heaven?
When Director Hartel was our planner, he always had to wear two hats.
Yeah.
One hat was protecting our valuable farm ground in the
course.
valley, because we have some of the best farm ground in the world.
Right.
Here.
Right.
And then also development hat.
Yeah.
So, and where those two line up is where he has that's
right.
So what you're saying is, would you rather see more houses out in the county?
No, I'm just saying, how do, I know, and I'm going to come to one of the meetings and put this in the public record, because I think it's something that I really would like the county to figure out and work on. And it's more of a clerical issue than other thing. So for somebody to figure out where to build out in the county, they literally have to go get a plot, and they have to look. They themselves have to look at. There's a 5-acre parcel here. There's a 10-acre parcel. There's a 2-acre parcel here. Now, whether it's for sale or not, that's on the person who's looking for the land. That's up to them. But that information I think needs to be more gettable. I think that is one way the county could be able to say, yeah, the cities are really built for you to set up your property in them. But if you want to build out in the county, these are how the parcels are already defined in the county.
I would suggest going to a planning commission meeting.
Yeah.
Those happen once a month.
Yeah.
And that's where our planning commission is fantastic. They do a great job.
Yeah.
And so they handle all that, and then if there is split decision or issues, then it comes to our desk.
Right, but I don't think the county. Again, the interaction that I've had with planning has been kind of a guard dog. No, we don't encourage building out in the county. That's been kind of the mentality I've heard, and that's not acceptable. I don't know. We can talk about that more offline, but that's something I really think that, again, it's like, how do we, because let's say you have a physician, or you have somebody that's moving here, or whatever that might be, and they can afford their own little piece of heaven. How do we accommodate them? And that really is a part of the housing crisis, is finding places for those people who they have the money to spend on a nicer place, and they want to do that, and then that increases the inventory below them. So
100%. No, housing. Everything always goes back to housing.
it does.
doesn't it? Yes.
It does. But we don't ever talk about that. I've never heard that talked about. So.
No. Well, I've chatted with a lot of people about growth and expansion.
Yeah.
And I mean, look at New York. I mean, if you can't go out,
Yeah.
you go up.
Yeah.
And right now,
Right.
Yeah. So for us to grow out has its limitations for sure.
Right.
But there are some places that yes, they're buildable.
Well, yeah, and I know that because my kid, my daughter, I mean, she found the land. She went to the people. She said, "Hey, we want to build a house." I mean, they built on the slope out there above Cove, and it's outside of the Cove city limits, and they found a way, but it was a lot of work, So, were there any questions in the forum that were like, "Ooh, I like that question," or that was
Well, you had a bunch of the same,
right?
but the 1 minute of say something nice about your opponent.
Yeah.
I hated that.
Yeah. What was your thought?
Yeah.
A bunch of
Was
bullshit.
that
Pardon my language.
was that senseless?
Jesus.
Was that senseless?
I don't. Did we need it?
Well, it was a closing one.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, so you didn't like it?
It was all right.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I was doing the whole. Oh shoot! I was going to answer this one. I mean, it was like the.
Yeah.
So, no, it was all right.
Well, and that would have been an interesting. I mean, had we had a debate, like a full, that would have been an interesting way to close the debate.
It would have been the same answer because it was
Yep.
all just a bunch of BS anyways.
Yeah.
So it's nobody was genuine. I mean,
But see, I don't.
feel like anybody
I
was
mean,
genuine about
I
their
think.
answer.
I think the question requires civility. It requires thoughtfulness. So I mean, I didn't. I mean, that's why it was left in. That's why it was in. Is because if you can't have a challenging conversation, but you can't say something nice about the person that you're running against, I think that says something about your character.
Well, if there's nothing nice to say about your opponent too, I mean, that's the.
They asked me one thing you like about Scarfo.
Yeah.
In 1995, you turned a double play. That was awesome. That's all I got.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Well, what else? out there,
Speaking of wolves, non-lethal grant funding is up. All the farmers and everybody know about it. Applications are being accepted right now through November 1st. So if you're watching and you would like some non-lethal wolf depredation funding, November 1st.
What does that? What does that pertain
Yes,
to?
very good question.
Yeah.
So
fence.
fencing, dogs, patrols. So the
Keep
states,
wolves out, right?
well, yeah,
Yeah, I
no.
guess-
So the states, but it's a program that our farmers and ranchers are using, and they're able to get funding to help out their dogs, help out patrols, help out any way
Can you
they
get
can.
bean bags for your shotgun?
I
Is that not? I mean, is
That's
that part of
non-lethal.
non-lethal?
But what?
I don't think we funded that yet.
But what non-lethal things work? I guess that's my big question. So are they just? Is it just funding? Is it just funding to placate people, or does it actually work?
Like having people on horseback continually, patrolling the area, and I mean, you're funding this person to go out and
yeah, but
watch for wolves.
who can do that? I mean, I just
How
don't. I mean,
expensive that is.
That's why, it's.
I mean, if you have
last time I was on the show, wolves have cost us how many?
A lot.
Millions. Do we need wolves? No, we don't need wolves.
right, but that's a whole nother issue.
Yeah.
I mean, but I guess is like I don't even know what non-lethal and. I mean, I wish we had a wolf person. If you're out there and you can comment, what non-lethal things practically work?
Yeah. So actually,
a fence?
Commissioner Beveridge.
Yeah.
I don't know who. Somebody came up with this. I thought it was fantastic. So you know how the collars are on wolves.
Right.
Well, you could put there's tracking devices on them.
Right,
and
right.
why don't you make them like a shock collar where it's like every farmer can put this perimeter fence around their property and the wolf can't go through it unless it'll get shocked.
Well, see, I mean, and
I think that's a fantastic idea.
no, that is a fantastic. But I mean, you don't even have to have the fence these days.
Use satellite or something. I don't know.
Yeah, because they can use geo tracking. They know that they do that with drones.
Yeah.
I mean, if I get a drone in the air it creates a geofence is what it's called.
I'm looking on ODF&W's website right now, and the one that they have at the top of the list is probably the number one deterrent, and that's keeping dead animals off of you. You know, a lot of people that raise livestock will have a dead pile. I know this because my aunt and uncle have a sheep farm. At the bottom of the property, there's a pit. You dig a hole and you throw anything that dies in it.
Right.
Well, getting rid of that is a big wolf deterrent.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's the one that's at the top of their list, so that makes sense. But
Yeah.
I mean, you know, what?
Yeah, is it going to solve the? Is this money going to solve the problem? No. Is it going to help the problem? I hope so.
Yeah.
Well, and what many people don't understand is that, you know, some of these, you know, I mean, if you have 100 head of cattle that are grazing, they might be over 500 acres, 1,000 acres that they're wandered over, you know, and I mean, and there's no, you can't watch after them 24/7. They're not. It's not like they're contained in your backyard and you can put cameras up and watch them, you know, and so. And wolves are smart. I mean, they're. I won't go. Anyhow, they're one of the hardest predators to kill that there is, just because they learn and they're smart, and so they're not gonna. I mean,
that's one of the deterrents as well. Management and husbandry changes. Is part what they talk about.
Right, but
changing where your herd is, how it's structured. That's part of.
Yeah. But it's like, how do you do that in a practical manner? I don't know. So.
And fires. So the county, we lifted all the fire restrictions, fire bans, all that. Even though it's cold, it's dry. And I mean, it could be 20 degrees outside, and if it's dry and windy, stuff will still burn. So everybody out there, please, you know, make sure if you're going to burn, put a cover over your burn barrels. Make sure you're there at all times. If it's really windy, I would really not suggest it. You know, we just went through a pretty serious fire season, and, you know, we just had that one up on Fox Hill, and everyone saw. That was, remember that one? Everyone was trying to drive up there. The sheriff had to close the road because everyone's trying to drive up to take pictures of it for Facebook or something. I don't know. But I don't know what it is. But, let's just be...
You're probably right there.
Oh, 100%. I mean, what else are you going to... Like, who runs towards a forest fire besides firefighters?
Okay, so we're east of 395, Union County, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay, so talking about the rubber bullets and stuff, right here it says anything east of 395 is regulated by OAR, and it goes as injurious harassment is allowed without a permit on private land by livestock producers on land they own or lawfully occupied, as long as there's no identified circumstances that attracts the wolf livestock conflict. So here in Union County, you can shoot them with rubber bullets.
Right.
On your property.
Well, you can actually shoot them if you find them harassing your animals.
You can actually shoot.
Yeah,
shoot
yes.
to kill, shoot.
Yes.
Right.
100%.
But the problem is just finding them. They're sneaky. That's why they're good at what they do.
I spent quite a bit of time as a youngster hanging out with a herd of sheep, and if you sit out there long enough, they'll come.
Yeah.
They come.
Right.
Coyotes come. I mean, trust me, they come eventually. Yeah.
Right.
They will. Especially like during lambing season or calving season, they get that scent in the air. You just get yourself a nice little stick blind.
When those kids drop on the ground, man,
right.
That
quick.
smell.
But your average rancher doesn't have time to sit out there and wait for the wolves to come.
Yeah, well, just like spring bear
Maybe
season.
that's what the money could pay for.
Yeah.
I'll pay Scarfo to go sit out there for,
That's it. That's one of
pay
it.
Scarfo a lot to go sit out there.
I mean, it's actually kind of fun. I used to love it when I was a kid, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
So back to the fires.
Yeah.
So we are doing a new way to get fire permits for burning slash. What you need to do is still call 963-4040, see if that's a burn day or not a burn day, and then either take a picture of our ordinance, have a copy of it. You just need to have the burn ordinance there at the location.
Either digital or printed.
Printed.
Yeah. And
so the things before you had to call in and say, "Hi, I'm Matt Scarfo. I'm going to set this off. I'm over here at this location." Well, we'd get 80.
Right.
And then so someone calls it in, you can't go through all the messages and be like, okay, they got a permit or not. I mean, they always go out and check, but we're just trying to simplify it.
Right.
And this is going to take a little bit because there's going to be a lot of people saying, well, where's the ordinance? How do I get the ordinance? Go on our website. We get it. Call me, 541-963-1001. I'll get you some copies. And so we're just trying to simplify it, but still keep everybody in the know of what you can and cannot do.
And I was going to mention this because I experienced this on Saturday or Sunday. And so, and poor Nick, Nick, how do I do this? And thankfully he called me. But so it is a little bit different and it's simpler. But I want to go back to what you said about that it's super dry, okay? Because we couldn't burn on Saturday, but we could burn on Sunday. And so, from the homeowner standpoint, and we have a pile of limbs and leaves and stuff, that's what we were burning, yard refuge. And it's seldom that the burn pile is ever dry and we're trying to burn it. I mean, it'll sit out there for 6 months and get soaking, and finally in the spring, it's like, and it will just kind of half burn. And so on Sunday afternoon, I lit it up, and man, it was, I mean, there was,
Did you get a little nervous?
Well, yeah, well, first of all, I want to say that I had shovel, I had a lawn chair, and I had a hose all right there, which are all part of the requirements. Yep. And I had the electronic copy of the ordinance on my phone. Okay. And so, and then I called the number, and they said, you can't burn in the morning, but you can burn in the afternoon. And so then I did that. But man, once it was lit, it was like, man, I'm glad the wind's not blowing, because
So what I'm saying is be careful.
yeah,
right now.
because it was only super hot for about 5 minutes, and then it burnt down and stuff. But still, in that few minutes,
when your flames start getting 20 foot tall. And,
yeah. I mean, it was
So throw a little diesel on it.
yeah.
You don't need diesel.
No,
after.
it was
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it just So
That gets a little. You pucker up a little bit in the first.
It does.
The first couple minutes.
It's a little intimidating. It's like
and you can't get close to it because it's so hot.
No, I was 20, 30 feet away. It was so hot. But I mean, and thankfully, our area is very safe. There's nothing for it to burn to. The trees around it are not around it, and and so, but still, it would be really easy for something like that to get out of control.
Oh, 100%.
Absolutely.
100%.
So I guess I'm just saying that, yes,
So
you're absolutely right.
still, 541-963-4040.
Yeah.
See if it's a burn day or not, and have the copy of the ordinance. If you need one, let me know.
Yeah.
Who decides if it's a burn day or not?
We do. Not the commissioners. No, but we have people that
The
air
computer
air
does.
quality. Yeah, it's a formula.
And
Yeah.
they decide every day?
Yeah, pretty much. Yep.
So they know which way the wind is blowing, how much the wind is blowing. I know this because we did a video not too long ago on the air quality stations, and it has a lot to do with the barometric pressure, whether the smoke is going to hover to the ground or whether it's going to go up, and so then they calculate all those things and say.
Yeah, high pressure, low
They
pressure.
do that every single day?
Yeah, so Annette Powers, she's the voice.
Yeah.
And so they have recordings of her saying, yeah, today's a burn day between the morning or the afternoon or no. And so they just look at the weather, look at the stats, look at everything and say, okay, it'd be best if it's an afternoon, and they play that one. And if it's a morning, they play that one. If they
Well, yeah, and I think it's all done. I mean, I think the computer looks at the stats and it just picks the right voice to play, I would imagine. So,
Yep.
It's all
knowing Nick,
automated?
it's not like Annette needs it every day.
Yeah.
Go in.
yeah, she's hovering over the data. Okay, yeah, I mean, she might be. I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
That's wild.
You know what?
what's that?
I didn't want to. There's some ballot measures coming out. You want to talk about some ballot
Yes,
measures?
absolutely. Educate us.
So that's the thing is, I'm getting educated myself because usually by now you'd start seeing vote no on this, vote yes,
yeah.
and they're not being advertised as much this year.
So I've seen no commercials about a tax
118.
increase.
That's 118, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or no, yeah, that's 118. That's the the higher consumer prices to make
Right,
up
but
The tax one, the taxing
yeah.
our big corporations in our state, and then everyone gets $750 or something.
everybody gets a kickback.
You know, it's sad that it's probably going to pass because it's like, oh, free money. But then
it's
when we
going to raise the prices for
oh,
everybody.
well, no, everyone's going to leave our state. Why would Nike stick around when they're paying when they could just move to Idaho and pay half of the
It
taxes?
would be the largest tax increase in Oregon history.
I would say almost in the nation.
Yeah.
Like try it. Look up nationwide. So when you start taxing these corporations, they're going to move. They're going to go find. They're going to.
Right, but
that's why do you think a lot of our stuff gets made in China and India?
Who comes up with that, though? How does that even get on?
Our governor is against this.
Right.
Our governor doesn't like this.
Right.
That's what when I've been on your show before, who vets this stuff?
Right.
How do these things get on our ballots and then they pass?
Right.
It's like, why is this on?
Measure 110.
Yeah.
Is that, I mean,
Yeah.
what does
who
that,
is-
right.
Oh, I looked up the guy that did it. He's a neurosurgeon or something like that. Gisbit.
That did 110?
No, they did this
Okay.
one here.
Yeah.
And he's got a foreign accent. I'm just like, how, if our governor doesn't like this.
Right, right.
But when everyone looks at it, I'm like, oh, I'm going to get $750 a year? Oh, done.
Yeah.
I don't care what the repercussions are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not unlike, hey, put money on your credit card and you'll get cash back.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, wait a minute, I'm paying interest anyhow, and
Yeah, these corporations are getting taxed, so
Right.
Here come inflation again, guys.
Well, so basically, the thing that I've read the most about it, it's just a hidden sales tax. Basically, is what it is. And,
Oh, with the cat tax. I mean,
Oregon is very historically against sales tax, and this is the way they're trying to slide it through. It's like it's a hidden sales tax essentially.
Well, the cat tax too. If you sell over $1 million,
$1
well, inflation now, everybody's selling over $1 million. Everything costs 3 times as much as it did 4 years ago. So there's your sales tax too. So tax in our state.
We've rejected sales tax on the ballot 10 times as a state, and the only time the opposition dipped below 70% was in 1990. So the opposition's been above 70% every time, and so that's why they've reworded this and figured it the way it is to not look like a sales tax, but
right.
essentially it is. I mean, it really is.
But
Because they're going to tax corporations. Corporations are going to raise the prices, and then they're going to give a little kickback of the money.
But
back
this
to them.
is not a tax that goes a little bit of the kickback.
Yeah, not even close to all of it.
Yeah. So this is one that's why they're putting in a little incentive in there is for the voters to be like, oh, $750.
You
I
got my vote.
Yeah, I could go spa day.
Even though it's going to end up costing them $5,000 over the year.
Yeah. No, I'm sad for this one. There's a couple on here that. What is it? 115. The impeachment. I don't. Instead of recalling, they said that they can impeach. Who is it? State elected officials, and there's only like 5 or 6 of them. That one there. It's like why? 2/3 of the House can impeach. State Treasurer, Bureau of Labor Industries, Secretary of State. I don't know why. I got to do some more research on why they want that to be a thing,
Right.
and just not because when they start taking the votes out of our hands,
Right.
that's what makes us free. Is we're able to vote
Right.
and not have just 5 people determine
Right.
who's in and who's out.
Right.
116. Oh, I think this is the trying to get raises for our legislators. Is the 116 because I don't know if you know this, they're
That's
getting
what
paid
it
like
is, 116 is.
$33,000 a year, and that's not much. I know they get stipends and things.
And that is, I mean, I remember. I mean, so Nash, who went, unless the earth falls apart, is going to win this next election. He's pretty much running unopposed, isn't he?
We had somebody that got some signatures
Right.
independently.
Right, but it's, he's going from being a commissioner in Wallowa County
To the center, yeah.
Yeah, and so, which is,
Fantastic. Todd's fantastic.
well, he is top, but I'm talking about from the salary standpoint.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, you pretty much have to be either retired, you have to have another income in order to afford to be
which is very difficult too, because when you're regular session, that's 6 months out of the year.
Right.
You're in Salem, and
Right.
so if you have another job, who's going to say like,
Right.
unless you work independently for yourself,
Right.
But it's still going to hurt. But yet their staff makes 2 times more
money
than they do.
Huh, that's bizarre.
So I don't know. We'll see what happens with
Yeah.
that one, and then
There's 5 measures.
yeah,
Five
17
ballot measures.
is
That's
is that the ranked choice voting?
Yep,
Oh,
ranked choice
yeah.
voting.
Right off the bat, it's going to cost millions upon millions of dollars for our
Calculate.
state. Oh, just to,
Right.
we don't have the technology.
Yeah,
Right.
just to set up the
Yeah,
technology.
and I believe all 36 county clerks are against this. There are some that I think there's only 16 or 17 that are like boisterous, but the home rule counties, they're not allowed to say anything. They can't say yay or nay against
Yeah.
this stuff. So when you see the articles that are saying, oh no, there's only 16 county clerks that are against this. No, that's wrong.
Yeah,
That's
can you
inaccurate.
explain briefly what ranked choice voting is?
So it's all about feelings and emotion.
Okay,
And so okay, perfect example, our governor election, last election. We had Tina Kotek, Christine Drazen, and Betsy Johnson.
okay,
So you'd sit there and go, all right, I want Tina Kotek in, so that's my number 1 choice.
Okay.
Well, who's your second choice? Well, I'll go Betsy Johnson, and my third is Christine Drazen.
okay,
And so 1s, 2s, and 3s.
okay,
And I think what happens is it's an average, there's a calculation, and then whoever has like maybe the least amount of points wins. So in that scenario,
it's just like polls in athletics.
yeah,
You pick, as a coach, if you're doing a coach's poll, you pick your top 25 in the country.
okay,
Number 1 gets a certain amount of points. Number 25 gets the bottom end of the points. And then you add them all together, all the coaches, and then you take the amount of coaches and divide it
Yep.
by that, and then you figure
so
out
it's,
who's number 1.
so it's the average.
Yeah, place you finish.
so in this scenario that we just had, if we had ranked choice voting, Betsy Johnson would be our governor,
You know, it's just,
and she had the least amount of votes. Because just look at it this way. So all the R's are voting for Christine Drazen.
Right.
1, well, they're not going to put Tina Kotek as a 2.
Right.
They're going to put her as a 3. So Betsy Johnson would have probably had all of the 2s
Right,
and probably and some 1s.
right,
And the other 2 would have 3s and 1s. And if you would average that all out, Betsy Johnson would be our governor right now.
Interesting.
And she was the 3rd place.
interesting. Okay,
And besides, it's going to cost millions and millions of dollars for our state.
right, and I remember
to change this over.
Well, I remember talking to Robin Clark, the past Church, excuse
Yep.
me, Robin Church, the past treasurer, clerk, excuse me, Union County clerk.
You're getting there. You're getting there.
Yeah. And I mean, and she said, yeah, we don't even have a way of locally. We have no way of even calculating that.
No.
And so then to do that in every county would just cost a huge amount of money.
Oh, 100%. And then right now, our constituents, even across the nation, elections are not a good topic right now.
Well, they're confusing enough.
Yes, and now you're going to throw this. I mean, who's going? People are not believing in our elections more
Yeah.
and more, and now you're
Right.
going to throw this on top.
Right.
Not a good idea. Will it pass here? Probably, which is super sad.
You think? Yeah, okay.
Alaska, and Massachusetts, and some cities in California. Alaska's trying to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Because they said, holy smokes, this was a dumpster fire. So it's sad, but I hopefully it doesn't pass. I think it's all about, well, everyone, your second choice got in. Don't you feel better about that? Your top 2, as long as your number 3 didn't get in there.
Right.
It's all about feelings and emotions.
Interesting. Okay.
And I'm really worried about our elections. This is what makes us free, like I said.
So essentially, it's not only you getting to say who it is that you really want in there, but you're able to say also, this is who I really don't want in there.
Correct.
And that's the weight differential.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay,
100%.
got it.
100%.
Okay.
And then 118. We talked about that one already.
119 is the weed one.
Oh yeah, are they trying to unionize?
Yeah, well,
that what it is?
I think I read it the other day, and I think like the way I understand it is that it's right now there's like a law or something that says that the employees can't talk to labor organizations. Like it's like similar to OLCC, and they're trying to make it so they can. That's how I understand it.
Yeah, it almost sounds like they're trying to unionize somehow.
Yeah, basically.
But
I don't know.
And who's
it's
that?
Something to do with like cannabis workers, like
Oh.
in not just in retail, but like also in production and like because there's quite a few places that grow in Oregon too. I mean, I was telling we have some locals that are moving to a lavender farm. Monica and Will, they've both been on the show before. She makes lavender stuff, and I said when weed got legalized, I lived on the west side still, and there used to be a ton of lavender farms over there, right? There was a lot. I mean, it's like a great place to grow lavender, grass seed, and grapes, right? And almost all of those lavender farms went from purple to green in one day. Like,
because
seriously, because there was so much money in weed at the beginning that
Yeah.
all the lavender farmers said, "We aren't growing lavender this year. We're putting in pot."
Shoot, there was hemp all over
It
this.
was
Oh,
crazy, man.
And where are they at now?
Crazy. Well,
Yeah.
the prices bottomed out,
Yeah.
so it's like
It was good for a year.
Yeah, it was good for a couple years, and then they were just like, now everybody and their dog figured out that it's not really that hard to grow weed, so everybody's doing it.
Yeah. Hey, but on these measures, like I said, there's not much out there.
Right.
I would suggest everybody, I got this from our clerk's office. Please go see Lisa, and I talked to her a little bit, and she wouldn't mind having a little show with you
Huh.
on this stuff too. And Lisa Feek, she's fantastic.
No,
She's
I'd
our
be.
clerk. Because we're
Maybe we can figure something out.
in less
have
than
her
2
come
weeks.
on and talk about
in less
these
than 2
things.
weeks, the ballots
Yep.
are coming out.
Good.
And like I said, I haven't seen much of this.
Right.
I haven't seen much of this at all. So I'm going to try to educate myself. I know some of these I'm just dead no on.
Yeah.
And then a couple of them, like I still would like the cannabis one. It's like, how's that going to
It's not.
how's that going to affect our state? How's that going to affect
Well, here's
Union
the
County?
thing. Google's a great tool. If you want information, type in Oregon ballot measures November 2024 and find a site that says .org because generally they don't lie as much, and read it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
100%. That's great advice.
Or look at a couple of them.
Yeah, or compare.
Yeah. If you find sites that have a good amount on the pro and on the con, then you kind of have some, and you can tell. It's like, are they covering both sides? Or are they? Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Well,
No, that's great advice. Dodgy.
It's not hard to educate yourself now with the internet. I mean,
And EOU homecoming, I know you mentioned it
Yeah.
this weekend. Exciting, but there was no baseball alumni game.
no, that's good. At least you saved the hamstring.
I played so well last year. I was like, I'm getting it back. And then, but they are going to scrimmage BMCCC 9 a.m.
Which has 3 LeGrand players.
Yes.
LeGrand graduates on
Yeah.
BMCC. And there's a LeGrand graduate on EOU too, Justin Frederick. So
Yeah, we got a brand new coach. So we'll, Coach Valentine, I'm going to meet with him this afternoon.
there's so much going on this weekend for EOU though. There's soccer, there's volleyball, there's football. Those are all conference games. And then you got softball and baseball at 9 on Saturday. You got basketball alumni game. I think they're even wrestling. I think they're. It's crazy. I don't know how they jam all this stuff and why they jam it all at the same time. Makes no sense. Why play the baseball and the softball games at the same time? Why?
There's no other time. There's
I
three.
know,
There's
but
3
I want to
days.
go to both.
I know. So
You know
do
what
I.
mean?
Yeah.
Same thing like Friday night, right? Women's soccer and volleyball at the same time. Both teams are hot. They're fun to watch, and you have to choose. I don't like that. I don't like that.
I would just suggest the weather is going to be fantastic.
Yes, it is.
And everyone get out there and enjoy the tailgating zone.
We should win on Saturday football-wise too. We're playing Northern.
We're playing.
Yeah, and we're
Boy,
playing
Quincy's
decent
Holy
right
smokes,
now.
that's a game
Yeah.
we just had.
Yeah.
No, I'm excited.
Yeah.
And the old faces come back in town. It really is a fantastic weekend. I really do.
I mean, the last homecoming, I saw so many people. I saw Mills.
Oh,
Mills
Mills,
was
Brad?
he was wearing the other team's gear. I was like, yeah, you can just go back to Canada, dude. Go back wherever you came from.
Oh, Brad.
Yeah, good old Millsy. He's doing good. He was my coach my freshman year, and then I coached when I came back from California. I coached a team with him.
No.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah,
You'll probably be here.
I hope he is.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
But no, yeah, everybody
Oh, Wes McAllister was there too last year, and he was wearing the other team's gear as well because this guy that didn't
here we
get
go.
me teed off here. This guy coached, graduated from, his wife worked all at EOU. He comes last year for homecoming and has his buddy's kid is the quarterback for, I think it was Tech who we played for whoever we played for homecoming, and he's got all their gear on, and I'm just like, really, Matt, come on, like, no, that don't fly in my world.
No.
No, I should have taken a picture of him and called him out on it. Yeah. All over, like, look at this guy. He graduated from EOU and he's wearing Tech gear.
Yeah, he was my coach.
Yeah, he was my coach too. Yeah. This guy, man.
Anyway.
All right. Well, thank you, Matt.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thanks.
Oh, yeah.
Always a good cream service.
Yeah. 541-963-1001, mscarfo at union-county.org. Don't like to do the emails. There's a lot of trickery out there with them, but give me a call or stop by the office.
Yep.
Nice.
And
Thank
the
you very
Idaho
much.
Greater
Yeah, tomorrow 9
meeting
a.m.
Tomorrow 9 a.m.
And if you miss that one, there'll be one in 4 months.
All right. All right. Get us out here, man.
On this day, October 8th, 1860, the first telegraph line between LA and San Francisco opened. 1945, on this day, the microwave was patented by U.S. inventor Percy Spencer. Could you imagine life without a microwave? It would be weird.
I do remember life without a microwave.
I
but
mean,
yeah,
I didn't have a
yeah,
microwave when I
right.
was real young.
Yeah.
But, like, my aunt and uncle have never had a microwave.
Yeah.
And they use a toaster oven and heat stuff up in the oven. It's like just
No,
normal.
I remember when people in our church, they were rich and they got the first microwave. And it was like, we went over to their house and it's like, what? You
What
put
is
something
that
in
thing?
there and it's, yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, it's just speed.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Convenience.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
1998, on this day, the U.S. House of Representatives voted to begin impeachment proceedings against President Bill Clinton, and that was the whole Monica Lewinsky thing. 2001, on this day, U.S. President George W. Bush announces the establishment of the Office of Homeland Security. 2019, on this day, the FBI in the United States confirmed Samuel Little as America's most prolific serial killer ever, after verifying more than half of his 93 confessed murders. I didn't even know who Sam Little is.
I didn't know that either.
That was
Yeah.
something new for me. On this day, the number one song in America 20 years ago is She Will Be Loved by Maroon 5. Man, Adam Levine got to make out with Kelly Preston in that video. What a lucky dude, man. And then the quote of the day on this day came from Anthony Robbins. Change your expectation for appreciation and the world changes for you. One more time. Trade your expectation for appreciation and the world changes for you.
All right.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Thank you very
Yes, sir.
much.
See you on Thursday.
Yeah, we'll be right here on Thursday. See you soon.